to say before we start off, pre-wash your fabrics, please, before you start. That's the end of that great debate. So, reasons for this, you know that I only make stuff when I need it. If we can't barbecue outside because the weather is horrendous, then we've started doing steaks and burgers and things inside. And with the best will in the world, that stuff splashes fat. And having ruined a couple of tops now, because I'm not all that with the old washing, and I don't really know how to get fat stains out. I thought, yeah, do you know what? That's why people wear aprons, isn't it? That's why they wear aprons, for exactly that reason. So on today's show, we have got this apron, and you can adjust it to be as long as you like. If I stand back here, you can see if I go up on my tippy toes, it's quite long. Is there? So Jane agreed, quite a nice length, but then you've got to also bear in mind I am nearly 6 foot tall, so you can adjust that length for whatever you like. I've got pockets, good size pockets. We're all good. It's got everything you need. It's got pockets. I could just stop there. It's got pockets. What we have got for you, however, are some mega bundles for you for this. So if I just tell you that you're getting a metre of calico, what I didn't realise is that the calico that I'd used is actually going to be enough for two, at least two of these, and probably a kid's one. So it means you can top up on other metres of fabric that you've got in our clearance and stuff like that, and you would be able to make a second apron. So it suddenly starts to be incredible value across the board. I'm going to say hello to everyone before we start, and I'll also show you how you can also just twidge it, because obviously I got Josh to try this on, and he's much bigger than I am, being, you know, of a rugby vent. So he's like, no, I'd like mine a little bit wider. So I'll show you how to make all those adjustments. Sharon's here, Marilyn's here, Auntie Lizzie Crangle is here. Yesterday started playing us live, did it? Lo's here. Any brassica you find is mine, or bear that in mind. Joy's here. Now, why does that keep... Oh. Jane's here and Julia's here. And Marilyn says, very nice apron, Natasha. Thank you very much. Claire's here. It's doing a funny thing this morning. Sue's here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Carol's here. Claire Angelina's here. And various others. Nikki's here. She's sneaky from work again. That's all right. We love that. That's absolutely fine. And Joe's here as well. So good morning, all. Lovely to have your company this morning. I'm going to show you what I had left over from this particular bundle. Now, this is a linen bundle. It's the last of the Moochie linens. We had yesterday, we had some meter pieces of the natural coloured ones. This is the one in Sky that we had left over. They are, if there are any of those left over, then you could buy one of these bundles, buy one of those, and then you'd get 2 aprons out of it. Nay bother at all. Kaz is here, Lois is here. Good morning, Natasha and team, says Claire. I'm moving in a week, having a rest day. Yeah, we're moving at some point. We have no idea when. So bear in mind, I've got another load of calico to back my next apron. This is how much I have had left over. We have done quite incredible bundles for this. So you've got that. So if you want to do just a little pocket, then you could, out of your contrast long quarter, because we've got all the bundles. It's a bit more calico. So you could have done your straps out of that. Straps out of that. This is all double, by the way. And then these, I wanted to give you extra because, to my mind, anything that is that shaped can end up being, and we've got 2 of them, that can end up being a teapot cosy, lined in calico. Beautiful. So suddenly you've started to get extra things that are going to match around your kitchen. So this isn't just going to make your apron. Do you know what? One of the makes that we use the most in our house has got to be the oven gloves, but more for the kids, the pot mitt. And actually I use the pot mitt a lot because all of our pans have got metal handles. So I use that pot mitt all the time. If the kids are getting croissants or whatever, or bread rolls out of the little air fryer with the trays, then they use that. It's been one of those things. So you could get a few pot mitts out of these at all. Like I say, these deals at the moment we've got are mega. For those of you that haven't joined us this week, you will know that we did announce that we are moving warehouse again. Simply because there are a lot of repairs that need to be done here, and they've decided in their wisdom that that is best done without us actually being in the property. So we've got to move, we've got to go, and then we'll come back. So how long do you think we'll be out for? It's like, 6 months. That's like about a year then. Good. Just keeping it real. But we're not quite sure when, but I just know that when they're ready to go, we need to be able to go. And so anything that we moved last time and haven't used on a show since, 30% off, Bosch warehouse clearance, it's all going. Now, let's show you then some of the stuff we've started to add to that warehouse clearance today already. That will be, if it's not already loaded, then it will be loaded throughout the day. So pay attention, you're not going to want to miss it. Here we go, right. I have got light blue chambray. I've got a bolt end, but I've also got some metre or 2 metre pieces of this as well. So again, that would make a lovely pinny. Or maybe if you've watched The Great British Sewing Bee, don't tell me I haven't watched it yet. Haven't watched it yet. And I've agreed to be on a review panel for it as well. So I've got to watch it. There we go. That is your light blue chambray, which is just a really lovely, almost denim-y. Now, bolt end, I've got a 19-inch piece here. So not quite a ½ metre of the alligators. I'm going to demo in this because we've also got these in kits. I love the alligators. I have made, every time I go to our village shop in Cornwall, I take my bag that I made out of that. I absolutely love it. Now, this is your bolt end in Macawa Spectrum. Oh, actually, that would look rather nice with that. I'd be getting that and that together and lining that with that. Ooh, lovely. We've got that. I have got a 1 metre 45 piece of Kaif petals there. I have got a 4 metre 20. Now, I didn't chunk this down because I just thought, because of the large scale of the paisley flower on this, if you're using that for quilt backing, you're going to want all of that climbing up. You're not going to want that in smaller bits. So I have left that as a big old chunk. But like I say, that is the only one I've got left of that. I've got a smaller piece, if you want a smaller piece here, at 2 metre 70, and that's the pastel colourway, which I made my bag out of at the weekend. So there we go. We have got those. Now, these are the ones that will be being loaded if they are not already. We have got 3 metre pre-cuts because these are the most beautiful lining fabrics. They're a jacquard lining fabric. We've got this and the white in 3 metre chunks. And it's just exquisite. So I've used these for linings and kits. You can use them for linings for dressmaking. I want to do a waistcoat. I want to do the golden rule waistcoat, and I want to do it with this lining. It's just beautiful. But we've done it in 3 metre lengths for this one, for those dressmakers out there. Absolutely stunning. Then we've got this in a, we've got 3 metre pieces of this one as well. This is your pewter. That was your brown and orange. We might have called it bronze in the past, but I'm not sure. They have slightly strange names sometimes. But this is your pewter and silver. I mean, it's just decadent, isn't it? Beyond belief. There we go. We have got 2 metre pieces in the black and gold. They all have really, really posh names. So one side, you can use these on either side you want, but one side is different to the other, depending on which way you want to. I mean, that is it, isn't it? Look. Oof. But again, these are all going to have 30% off. We've had a couple of different suppliers for this, so it'll depend where they've come from as to the end price on these. And then this one is the mink. I love the mink. Look at that pinky bolt end. I just, oh, look at that. It's just gorgeous. Whether you use this for bag linings, whatever you're using this for, I just, you know, whether you're dressmaking, it's really, really beautiful. Really beautiful to use. I've done some gorgeous bags and used this for the linings. Now this one here is your, we've called it orange and ginger gold. Have a look at the pictures because you'll see it's got that red. I think this was called Mars or something ridiculous. They had kind of planet names. I think this is probably Mars because of the redness and the richness in there. But if you love your oranges and your reds, then this might just be the one for you. And again, that is coming in 2 metre pieces. And then this one here. What did I use to line with this? I can't remember. But this is the Paisley Jacquard in blue, teal, and that's got that beautiful gold in there. This looks really beautiful with actually the Lisa Chandler fabrics that we've had. Looks really rather lush with that. I've used that before now. There we go. Okay, so they are the jacquards. They will be, oh, there you go, there's the white one. That's quite tricky to see, but if I just flash that there, you can just see that detailing in there. That would actually just make a beautiful tablecloth. 3 metre piece. It's a big old tablecloth, isn't it? Gorgeous. Right, so today's bundles. Let's have a look at those. This is the one I'm going to work with. So a metre of calico that is 94 inches wide. Woo, it's a lot of calico. A metre here of your alligators and a long quarter for your straps and everything else, should you wish to use it or to line your pocket. This is kind of just a contrast. It depends how you want to use it. You've got plenty just in that and that. You don't need this, but I've popped it in anyway. I did my my straps in that contrasty one. So that's what I'm going to use today. But we also have, now there's a lot, so bear with me. So for all of these bundles, you are going to get the metre of calico. Now, somewhere in all of this, there will be a long quarter of navy. What have I done with that? Probably used it, but you will get a long quarter of navy with that. That's your Mucci linen. If you fancy going with normal fabrics, normal cotton fabrics, then this is your headdress. I think that's going to be lovely. And then that's your contrast fabric, which picks out the leaves in there. So that's a metre of headdress, metre of calico, and a long quarter of jade for that. And again, as like I say, all coming with this metre. If you fancy, now this is a special one. My goodness, the discount on this is super yummy. If you want to have that lovely striped pinny, with a little bit of gold because it's Lisa Chandler, and then you could do your pocket in your Hampton stripe. That would be really, really gorgeous. And then you could do it however you want to do it, but you could have that contrast or that. Or if this is for a gentleman, then you could just keep that for yourself and then do all of your handles and everything out of the calico and what you have left over from here. So it's a very, very versatile bundle. Or if you just love your Lisa Chandler and you know that we won't be getting some of these back. Certainly we're not going to get anything until we move. So just bear with. Right, this one is your Stella in blue. You see, I wanted to use these fabulous big prints. Is that upside down? Probably. And that is with navy, as was this one actually. So that would have been, that's also. And then tried to be organised with these. Tried to be very organised with these. Let me just check. Oh, I've got YouTube messages apparently. I'm just going to finish off showing these, Gemma, and then we'll chat about YouTubers. Sweet pea, 1 metre of the sweet pea. I thought that would look really nice. Really nice as an apron. We've got that for your option there. And then this one here is your savate. Now I love this, and also that's going to hide any dirty marks for sure, which also we rather like that option. You might just be wanting to grab these because the fabric is an absolute steal, absolute bargain. Oh, this is lovely. I kind of wanted to demo in this one as well. Honestly, all of these I'm really, really excited about. I thought I want to make all of these pinnies. They're not a long make, actually. They're really not a long make. So you've got that option. That's a Martha Negley one. Then, oh yes, now this one I thought would look absolutely gorgeous with the hydrangeas climbing up the front. And then I've picked out the jade for the handles. I keep calling them handles, the ties. You know what I mean. And apparently I've put another Lisa Chandler one in there. So there are your options today. Lots of lovely options for you. And then there's one more to show you, which is this. Now this was, well still is actually, this is your Lewis and Irene panel one. So if you don't want to buy the pattern today and you just want to get a panel, I've put this, for me this feels a little bit flimsy just on its own to make into an apron. Might do you just fine, but just one layer of fabric doesn't feel quite enough for a really good robust apron. So we've put this with 1 metre of calico and put it on at a really delicious price. Okay. Oh, Carrie says it's very wet in Gloucestershire. So yeah, they are on a very special deal for you today as well, when Gemma gets them all loaded. Bless her. I sent these over last week and she keeps going to load them, and then I'm like, oh no, hang on, let's do this. Oh no, let's do that. She's like, can you just make your mind up? Let's have another quick run through here. 2 metres. I've got 2 pieces of 2 metres of the chambray. I've got the grey woven stripes. Now again, this is lovely for wide leg palazzo pants. We bought these in and these in, oh gosh, 2 years ago, would it be now? Getting on 2 years ago now, when Jennifer Taylor came in and we did some dressmaking with her, and then we did the any size trouser, wide leg trouser. So we had those in for her. Again, lots of you going for the velvets yesterday. These are all up and loaded. If they've sold out, they've sold out, they've gone. These are metre pieces of the velvet in the purple, the red, the midnight, and the blue. And then this is your faux brown leather. You've got pewter, and then you've got the quilted, and then we've got champagne, possibly copper gold. So those are your quilted PUs, and your normal PUs, again, they are in metre lengths. It's the only way that we could do an accurate stock take on them, because, you know, stuff happens. So yeah, they are in the warehouse clearance. Check out that warehouse clearance page and grab yourself some bargains. I would love to see some aprons out of these as well. Right, okay. Half metre heavens this week. I feel like I'm rattling through these for you today. These, oh, hang on. Just one cotton picking second. So, half metre heavens we'll look at. These go live tonight at midnight. I've done something a little bit different with them this week in terms of they're all either with a textured plain or a batik. So it's not your normal plain. So there's added value there, but we've kept the price at just $9.99. So they are technically clearance. Right, we have got, who have we got? Trisha, she says, morning all from a very soggy Liverpool. At least the plants will be happy. Well, the plants and Dave. The chickens are not so happy, and the rabbits aren't coming out to play today. They are in their wet weather house today. Cynthia says, greetings. Yes, let's bring the apron back to good use. Seems like I only get around to wearing them at holidays. Do you know it? Yeah. But honestly, I've wrecked too many clothes or just had it spit on my skin, and that's not a thing either. And also the kids have got, the kids have got cookery club as well. So I'm going to measure for them as well. And says, morning all, lovely day here in Cyprus. Finished the housewife things, now relaxing and watching live. You see, and this is it, even in hot weather, I would still wear a pinny because I don't want things splashing onto, you know, actual bare flesh. Megan's here, morning, love an apron. And yeah, Carrie says it's very wet and Gloucestershire. I thought we'd had the rain. It's biblical. I was so late getting the kids to school because all the roads were flooded. I had to turn around and go round a different way. It's all very confusing. Yes, Gemma, the long quarter is black. We're getting there. We're getting there with it all. Let's show you these half metre heavens. These go live tonight. They are half metres of a delicious feature fabric. And then in this case, a half metre with our Cafe step flower there. And we've gone for a beautiful half metre, picking out this pink of a smoked batik, which is rather gorgeous. I've only got 2 of those, and then that's that step flower gone. Now, petals in blue. Now, I've put this because this has got the orange and the yellow, and this has got orange through to yellow. But I don't know, this is the flutter fabric. I don't know if you can see from there. But you've got butterflies and leaves and florals in there, which I thought went so beautifully with the petals there. And Kate doesn't mind if you mix up different designers. So yeah, you've got that. And you've got to really look to see those butterflies. It's, it's a textural delight, but kind of fitting. So I was quite pleased with myself. The same batik here with the coral duck egg. Now, I just thought this was lovely and watery under the water. This has got like a red shadowing on the coral. And so it just it worked. For me, that was just like, that's a winner. I love those two together. Absolutely love those two together. I've only got 8 and then they're gone. The Japanese chrysanthemums, it would have been rude not to have put them with this incredible orange batik. Yeah, gorgeous. And then I owe someone an apology because someone bought a 1.5 metre piece of the furry baskets, not furry baskets, curly baskets, and I thought they'd all been cut, so I chopped those for half metre heaven. So you can either have it in 3 half metres, or we won't. We'll only have one of these then. But this is going with a linen textured sort of chambray colour, which is gorgeous. It's a cornflower, but it's all those colour blues in there. Sometimes the textured fabrics are just such a winner with Cave. Oh, and this one. I love, love, love this. We've made quilts designed just around this, really, and I've done bags and goodness knows what. But you look, this is an Anna Maria Horner fabric. This is, I've got one bolt end and then this is done. In fact, I'm not sure if that bolt end sold yesterday. But yeah, you've got all these different blues through here. So this, for me, was such a beautiful addition to this fabric. Just love it. I want all my bags made out of that. Now, the vintage in jungle, I've picked this corally pink colour because you've got all these different colours through here, and the texture of this picks out all the different ones in there. So for me, that was a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And then with the Cafe, this for me just worked an absolute treat because of all the different reds and browns and everything else. To have that texture to pick up those, I thought was really rich and rather fabulous. So we will be having that up as well. And then I've got, oh yeah, now this is Dorothy. This is a Philip Jacobs for the K Facet Collective. These beautiful big blooms named after his mother. And I've found this one, which is a texture, and it just brings out all of the deep, beautiful sort of burgundy colours in there. Yeah, there are sometimes when I do stuff and Jane will come in, she looked at it and just went, oh, yeah. Now this is the in the pewter. Now, if you're one of our design members, then you will have seen a new video where I've used these fabric bundles with a little bit of this for the rivet handle bag. And this is what I love. So you get one big paisley and then you get the rest of it climbing up and across your bag. So $9.99, and you've got a gorgeous textured fabric there for your lining. It's kind of what inspired me to do it. I was like, actually, that would look fabulous for those. And then here, we've got it with that green, because this has got all sorts of shades of green in it, which is just brilliant. And yeah, then they're gone. That's it, that's the last of those ones. Like I say, there's a bolt end of each of those, and that is your lot. So enjoy those, and let's have a look at these. Please pre-wash, okay? Because otherwise when you pop it in the wash later, you don't want it to be shrinking. That is not a good thing at all. Now with your pattern will come a template, but the first thing that we're going to do is do the handles. You can cut the handles out of this fabric if you want. And if so, I would really recommend that you cut them through here. But otherwise, this is why you've got your long quarters. If you've got a turning through tool, now is the time to be looking that out. And we're going to cut ourselves 4 strips. If you're making an apron for yourself and you know exactly, you want it tailor-made exactly to you, then you only need to do 3 strips. And why do I say that? I say that because if that's the case, then you can measure how long you want that to be, and you can put that in to suit you, right? Now I'm just grateful for anyone doing any kind of cooking, so I'm not going to try and deter them to have I've got a thread. So I've done mine so it is fully adjustable with ties and ties there. To say it's actually really comfy. Oh, yes. We like it a lot. So, but if you are going to do it so that you just have the loop around the back of the neck, then you only need 3 of these. But we're not going to do that today. So we're going to cut ourselves some strips. I had flashbacks to my handles guide. It's like, oh, how are we going to do these? But you see what you've got then is if you want to bind the top of a pocket to make it stand out, you've got binding for that. Got my little squeaky bits there. If you had wanted to beforehand to actually cut this fabric to length, then you'd have a usable square. I obviously didn't think to do that. That would have been way too organised. I did when I did my initial one, but not this time. So we are just going to trim those all to the same length. These are doubled over, by the way, so that's my fault, and then I've got that and I can use elsewhere. Gemma says the kits are up, but someone is mentioning a blue canvas kit. Do they mean the gaiters, or is there one I haven't had? Oh, hang on. Bear with me, caller. While I just send this across. Have you found it, Gem? Oh yes, Erica, I will go through the club in just one moment. Just bear with me. Just let me find, Gemma, the information on these. I think it's been lost in translation somewhere. Somewhere. I was so organised. I took all these photos last week and I've managed to confuse everyone. Oops. What have I done with them? Oh, I haven't actually shown you all the bundles yet. I've just realised. Gemma, I will take a photo of it for you now. This one and this one. And we had it with Gemma having a panic. Let me take a photo for you, Gemma Lala, and send it across. I don't have many of these at all, or do I? Soz everyone, bear with while I just get this across, Gemma, and then we can get it loaded and then you guys can grab it. It's the one I demoed in. I've obviously just not taken the photo. You'll recognise this photo, you see, when you see it. You'll be like, oh yeah, no, we've seen that. And that's with navy, Gemma, just so you know. Bless her, having a panic. There we go. Thank you for spotting that. Well done. I sort of been going, why hasn't that sold? That's such a beautiful bundle. Why didn't that sell? Because I didn't give it to Gemma to load. That's why it didn't sell. Let me just check my box. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, Gemma. Six of those. Do you know what else I haven't shown you? You've just reminded me. And that is these. There's just so much. It's very confusing this morning. Sorry, everybody. And now it's kicked me out the thing to change everything. Here we go. These are metre bundles. So if you want to do kids ones or you just want a big chunk of beautiful fabric, these are on a whopping discount today. So a metre of your Foxwood, Foxwood, and a metre of, look, we've picked this teal out from the fox. And if you want the spot to go with it, because I've got to do kids aprons for cookery, like I say, cooking classes. So we've got 2 metre bundles, 1 metre, 1 metre, 2 metres there. And then I think Emily wants the Makawa elephant one. No surprise. Oh, look, you see, look, there it is. Yeah, Gemma, look, there it is. It's Moochie linen. It's sky with 1 metre calico. There it is. There. Knew I'd put it somewhere. So this is your Macawa. This is your Jungles. And we've done it again with another Macawa spot on fabric there. So 1 metre and 1 metre. Look, these don't have to be aprons. These are just beautiful fabrics to have in your stash for quilts, playmats, bags, anything you like. And they are just $19.99. That is half metre heaven prices for, yeah, for 2 metres of incredible fabrics. But when they're gone, they're gone. That's all I've got of those. The other thing, if you are a avid fan of dressmaking, then you might want to, if you're making lots of these sorts of things, make your own curves and whatnot. This is your tailor's curve. They're fab. You get all the instructions on the back here, along with apparently a bit of sticky tape on this one. There we go. For collars, for shirts and dresses, for sleeves, for shorts, for skirts, for trousers. Shows you exactly how to use it. And then down here it shows you've got your centimetre scale, and then you've got it for pleats, you've got your 90-degree angle, you've got your button sizes, and then you've got a smaller curve there for smaller parts. So that's a kind of a guide on the back there for that. And there you've got your tailor curve. This is from Latalo. I love it. I've had mine for years and years and years. And it's a great piece of kit. And we like it very much. Right, back as we were for making the straps. I've tried to do these as easily as possible. So all we're going to do is fold it in half. And we'll batch sew these. So talk amongst yourself while we do this. We're going to sew across the end first because we're going to use our turning through tool. If you don't have one, it just saves an awful lot of time, effort and swearing, if I'm honest, because that's what happens for me. So we're going to sew across the end, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then all the way down. You can use a thread that doesn't show up every wobbly bit, if you like, but obviously, you know, given that this is on that there telly, so already this morning I've had his nibs say that he wants, I'm going to demo in the alligators because his nibs wants an apron out of that for when he's barbecuing. Freddie wants a pirate one. I'm wondering if I can doctor the pirate panel, or I might do one with dinosaurs. And Emily wants to pick her own fabric. Of course she does, because she's 5 and a strong, independent woman. And she has this morning already been helping Jane in the warehouse get things sorted and straight. She's helped Jane prep next week's shows. Which brings me on to the next bit, if you can hear me. Erica has asked if I can explain the subscriptions. Yes, I jolly well can. Right, so some of you are already signed up to the Natasha Makes Designs subscription, where each month I upload at least one video for you. So it's the cost of a pattern, basically, the subscription. But for that, you get a new pattern every month, video tutorial of a new pattern. Any kind of templates or you will needs, you can print off. And then you've got step by step, pause it, do whatever. And it's just, I know that some of you don't like all the chat that we normally have during the shows and you just want a straight demo. And, you know, if time is a little bit pressing, then I get that. That's absolutely fine. So that's what that is. We have a Zoom call one night a month in the evening where we just chat. So it's a lovely little community. And then we have a Zoom workshop each month as well now. So that's a new thing. So last month we looked at zips and we did the 1 zip wonder pouch, and we then also did the any size pouch, and afterwards I then re-recorded the workshop without all the chat and everything else into project size chunks. So if you want to make the pouch, it's there. If you want to make the one zip wonder, then that is there. We also proved on the workshop you can get a cork as well. So we've got those for you. So they should be up for you now to enjoy. So then we wanted to launch one for Jane, because I know that a lot of you want to work with Jane. Sometimes you watch her shows and you think that's fabulous, but I can't actually manage it from scratch. This is the tonal version. These are actually different colours. It's going to be a rainbow. And I have actually got this on my computer to print off for you. So this is block 1. So the very first workshops, this is Jane's new subscription. It is not the same as mine. It is a separate one. And this is a purely a quilting workshop subscription. Okay, so for $6.99 a month, you get that time with Jane. If there's no pressure to buy the extra fabrics or anything else, you can use your own stash if you want, but we will put a bundle together for those of you that want to make it exactly as Jane has made hers. And also these colours, you know, will have threads and everything else if you want those. So on the Bank Holiday Monday coming will be Jane's first Zoom workshop. Okay. She's going to talk about from scratch. We are assuming absolutely no knowledge. This is a beginner workshop on Zoom. We will then record the same session but without everybody, and that will be loaded for you to watch back whenever you want. So month on month it grows into an entire quilt and a workshop month on month, which will then stay up, and you will have access to that as long as you are a member. And then once we've done this, we'll move on to a new quilt, and again it'll start. So we'll build on your skills as you go. So this is the first month. Well, this will be the first month, which we'll do next month. So this bank holiday, Jane is going to go through everything that you need. We'll show you the fabrics. We'll show you what the whole thing is going to look like. We're going to assume no knowledge, talk through what rulers, which rulers to buy if you don't have them, what we recommend. And again, there's no pressure to buy from us, but we stock what we stock because we think it's the best. And also for what we use. So for instance, the rulers we stock are Stripology, because I do think they are the best quilting rulers out there because of the inbuilt non-slip grip on them. They make me feel safe. So they are the ones we stock, but feel free to shop around and go elsewhere. It's not a problem. So we'll talk about your equipment and just meet and greet how we want the Zooms to work. You know, like having yourself on mute. If you want to ask a question, putting the little raise hand thing on so that we can then ask, you know, what the problem is, and not have everyone and the background noises. So sort of Zoom etiquette for anyone that's not been on Zoom before. So we'll talk through all of that, introduce everybody, ask any questions for anyone that has any concerns or questions, and get all that squared off so that when we then do the next one, we have everything that we need. So you will know. So if you're using your own fabrics, you will know in advance what you need to have ready, what fabrics you need to have. In this case, it will be 3 fat quarters. And so you will be all properly prepared, ready to go for the next one. And that is what it is. This is now live and available for you to sign up to. I will do a Facebook post with all the links. I'm sure someone can put the link in the chat. Josh has worked ever so hard to get these up. You will head to the same place as the Natasha Makes Designs membership, and then it will show you which of the subscriptions you have access to. So if you've joined for both, you'll have both to choose from which ones you want to go and have a little play and a mooch around in. So that's that, and I'm really excited for it, because the thing I really know about Jane is that she is a fantastic teacher. And the thing I know about these shows is that you all have questions that you want to ask. Now, the reason that we've done it as a subscription is because actually there's a cost for us to do all of this. And because we're not pushing sales, we're not pushing fabrics for you to buy or anything else, we need our time paid for. And that's what that subscription does, so that we are then able to provide that for you. If you were going to go and do a workshop, an actual workshop, it would be a lot more than $6.99, I can assure you. So we think we are bringing you incredible value for money. And yeah, I hope that you'll really love it. And also that community, having someone to check in with every month, see how you're doing, building on those skills. I think it's going to be really, really, really lovely. So very excited for that. I hope, Erica, that answers your question. Meanwhile, as we were doing straps, I've got 2 more to do. Then we're going to turn them through, press them, and then we're going to top stitch down both sides. Isn't it funny? We all have stuff that puts us off doing a project. I've wanted to make these aprons for so long. The thing I haven't wanted to do is do the straps. And actually, just because I'm, it's when I came to do them, by the time I'd used my turning through tool, I was like, actually, this doesn't take any time at all. What was I procrastinating about? What was that? So yeah, anyway, I hope that's answered all of your questions. Yeah. So the same will happen with Jane. If there are any templates or anything, I don't know actually if there are any templates for hers. But your cutting instructions and whatnot will be able to be printed off, and then you'll just sew along with Jane. And it can be an actual sew along, because obviously you can get the kits in advance or have your own fabrics ready in advance. And yeah, I just think it's really, really lovely, and I'm very excited for it. And I know that Jane is as well, because she does love to teach. And it's what she's very, very good at, and I'm all for. I saw something the other day, it was like, wouldn't schools be different if we actually focused on the strengths that each child had, rather than trying to just go for a one-size-fits-no-one approach? I was like, actually, yeah, that's so true. When I trained for the Olympics, I was an experiment to see if you could take someone who had never trained in their life ever in any way, and in a 4-year cycle get them to the Olympics. This was this was for the 2012. And when we first thought about this as a project, the very first thing that we did was think of, well, my body type, I'm nearly 6 foot tall. There's no point in making me do gymnastics or anything like that, because that ain't going to work. And so we set me up for as much success as we could imagine. And I just think that's the thing. That's what we can do here with these subscriptions, is set you up for success and so along. I'm just going to take the bulk out of these corners. I mean, obviously I didn't get there in the end because I had 2 car crashes 6 weeks apart and had lost all the power in my right arm. But, within the first year, from 0, I was ranked 21st in the country, I think it was. And, we chose the modern pentathlon because of my body shape. Right, we are now going to turn these through. But you guys know that's an old story. That is nothing new. If you do not have a turning through tool, I don't know if we can get any more. We probably can. I don't know if we've got any. That was more the question, whether we've actually got any. But if you've not used them, I don't always tend to use that pokey bit, because sometimes it can go through your stitches. But what you're looking to do is poke that through These are really long handles, so, and then, yeah, put it through the tube. It's very, very clever. And then I keep the stick in just to poke out those ends. And that is the least sweary way I can find to turn through handles. I would even make binding normally rather than sort of make long handles this way. But I thought if I did the binding method, that's then 4 layers of fabric. That's not actually going to be easy to tie. So I thought, actually, do you know what? This is the way that these handles have got to be. And it was never as bad as I thought. It's funny, isn't it? We've all got our favourite bits of sewing, the bits of the sewing that we like to do and the bits that we don't. What are your favourite bits? What bits do you really like doing? I like it when I've got all my little constituent bits done and then I can just bosh it all together and suddenly it looks like I've got nothing and then all of a sudden I've done everything. Like, that is very cool. So there we go. I used to do these with 2.5 strips. I first encountered these on 7/4, and I would always, because I'm a sewer, I would always demo all the products. Very happy to. And they used to set me challenges to see how long it would take me to turn through a 44-inch, 44, so selvage to selvage, width of fabric strip, 2.5-inch strip done like this. And I think I got it down to something like 6 seconds. It was something ridiculous, or 12 seconds or something. It was something incredibly fast. And it was good fun. So yeah, these are just handy little natty tools. Because if you had to turn these through any other way, oh, no. And I think it's that memory of having to turn them through other ways. There we are. Because actually this is quite good fun. Oh, I've got another question by the looks of it. Nikki has asked, will I be able to catch up on the first week working? No, and no stock of the turning through tools. Yes, absolutely. So, Nikki, the thing is, we do understand that work and stuff gets in the way. So that's why it'll be the same as we've done for the Zoom workshops, for the Natasha Makes designs bit. Is actually, you know, I could just be pressing, couldn't I, while we talk about this. Yeah, it'll be exactly the same. So it won't be the actual recording of the Zoom session because, well, our workshop went on for 2.5 hours and there was a lot of sort of standing around waiting for people to catch up and get us to that point. So what we will do is for that, yeah, it'll be re-recorded without everybody in it as a session for you to access as and when you want to. No problem at all. No problem. So all I'm doing is pressing these. I'm trying to keep the seam on the side. I either try and keep the seam on the side or on the back in the middle. Which often, if you press these, and you'll know what I mean, sometimes like the seam sort of folds in and it's difficult. There are some people that have those hot fingers. I don't have hot fingers, Jane does, but I don't. So you can roll those seams, but sometimes they just sort of fold in on themselves, which is annoying. But if you do the seam at the back, then that doesn't seem to happen. Seam. So, and then we'll top stitch down these. It's quite a lot of top stitching and sewing and things in these. These are not a difficult make at all. You know me. Let's not make anything too complicated. But I am really thrilled with mine. This is staying on. And I'll be cooking lunch in this. Very excited to have my own apron. I don't think I've ever had my own apron. I must have done when I was a kid and did. It was HE then, wasn't it? Home economics. Do you remember that? Oof. So yeah, the subscription for Jane, we've costed it, I think, very, very fairly. It's $6.99. You could pay more for coffee and a cake, couldn't you? And that's less than we charge her patterns out at each month. So to get that time with Jane, I think is cracking value. And like I say, you don't have the train fare, you don't have anything else to get there. You just got to walk upstairs, downstairs, wherever it is that you're going to be sewing along from. Nearly done. Had I not encountered lots of flooding and had to turn around on my way on the school run, I was going to have these all ready for you. But you know, best laid plans and all that. So just bear with me whilst I get these done. Right. Oh, what's lovely now as well. It's hay fever season, isn't it? Fabulous. Anne says, a girl after my own heart. I wear a pinny every mealtime to keep from slopping stuff on my clothes. Mine just lands on the boob shelf. I'm not sure if that's Gemma that's added that hers just lands on the boob shelf. I remember, who was it? It was a very well-endowed friend of mine, and she was complaining about something, and her partner said, yes, but when you spill food, it just stops. I was like, oh no, that is fair. And I always remembered enjoying that when I was pregnant. Like if I dropped food, it was just there. It was on the food ledge, ready to have at a later date. My dad has a beard. He looks like a skinny Captain Birdseye, and or a salty sea dog, and he, you know, regularly catches stuff in his beard. And I'm like, saving that for later, are you, Dad? It's handy to have. In cases of emergency. You know what I should have done? I should have actually changed my needle before this. But never mind. We'll crack on through. Oh, Gemma says, yeah, I added the boob shelf. You have a fine boob shelf, my darling. Well done you. I'm not sure I was meant to read that bit out, but, you know, if it's true, it's true. We're all friends here, right? So this is, these are the boringy bits. We get the boringy bits out the way and then we can crack on with the main event. I even, in anticipation of long straps and top stitching, you don't have to top stitch, by the way. I do for the simple reason that when it goes through the wash, I don't want to press it. And if it's top stitched, I don't have to press the hand. I keep calling them handles. They're not handles. What are they? Straps. I don't have to press the straps. That one time pressing there, and one and done. So I would far rather do that. If I'm honest, and I am whizzing through these. At the ends, as you can see, I'm going round across the top. And off we go. Woo! I am very tempted to do some more pot mitts. We made the pot mitts out of the linen cockerel fabric, hen fabric that we had. And we've used and used and used and used and used those in our kitchen so often. So to then have one that I can have another one. I made two at the time, so there's always one in the wash and one in play. But yeah, the other morning Emily was impatient for her breakfast. And it was cooking. We've got one of the upright air fryers. It's got the shelves in. She was really impatient for her breakfast. So she just put the pot mitt on herself. I was in here working. Oh no, where was I? I don't know anyway. So yeah, she just put the pot mitt on, pulled the drawer out herself and helped herself to breakfast. And I read somewhere the other day, you know, our children are as independent and as capable, because part of me was horrified. I'm like, oh my goodness, my 5-year-old is having to fend for herself. And then I just read this thing that, you know, our children are as self-sufficient and capable as we allow them to be. I was like, yeah, that's really quite true. So I stopped feeling guilty then. Mum guilt. It's a real thing, isn't it? Proper real thing. Nice bit of mum guilt. I was trying to explain that to Emily this morning about mum guilt. And that as mums we regularly get things wrong. And it's okay. Right. Let's have a look at these then, shall we? We can then put these to one side. So we have top stitched, gone across the end and back down. So they are our straps. We'll put them to one side because we don't need them yet. Now let's look at the adjustably bits for our fabric. I don't need that either. I do, however, need this. So this is the alligator fabric. This is the fabric of choice for his nibs today, for his apron. Now, if I am going to be fussy and fussy cut, then when I fold this, I'm going to refold it and press it. Isn't it a fabulous design? Down that centre line there. And so that I've got those alligators in the middle. Okay, so just bear with me whilst I redo this. If the job is worth doing, everybody, it's worth doing properly and all that. And I'm going to take that, move the coffee out of the way, that centre of the flower as my middly bit. And just repress that, because we're going to cut on the fold with this, okay? Now, next week, we've got brand new Lewis and Irene for you. Because there's me going, no, we're clearing the warehouse. We don't want new stuff in. Of course, all the new stuff that I've ordered is still coming in. So we've got brand new Lewis and Irene for you. That's going to be coming up. This is glorious, isn't it? This is the fabric we're working with today, and I love it. I'm just going to trim off this end here. It's the last of it. and I'll be quite sad when it is gone. I'm going to be honest, right? Josh has asked if I can make his apron ever so slightly wider. And that's fine, but it then means it's going to be too wide for me. There's part of me that's like, but I want one out of this too. That's bad, isn't it? That's really bad. But yeah. I could do, or, yeah, okay. I am a bad partner, clearly. Right. I'm going to use my cutting mat for this because I'm going to make this a lot. You can make this longer. If I'd have thought about it, I would have made it longer. However, I've already cut the calico for it, so no. If you do make it longer, I'm going to use this for my pockets. I'm going to cut my pocket piece here. Do I want alligators coming down? Yes, because with my seam allowance I would lose the bottom of their chops, but I'm happy to have them coming out there. Now, so if we get all of that cut, then that's all good. So centering, there's my centre mark, there. So that's going to be the width of my pocket. If you want to do two separate pockets, then you can. The pockets are like an extra, aren't they? They're that optional extra, but we'll prep them now so that we can then just build that entire thing together. So from there, just double check. So yeah, out of what you've got left at the bottom of that metre, you've got enough for your pocket. And like I say, out of your calico, you could do at least another apron. Now, what you can do, when I did mine, what I actually did was sew around and leave a turning through gap. With the best will in the world, I'm going to repeat what I'm going to do at the top of the apron, which is to put a line of wash away tape. And also that will be, until this is washed, it gives it a little bit of extra integrity. So I'm just going to fold that over, because we will top stitch along that top bit. I love using the wash away tape for a couple of reasons. You can sort of roll it and it stops where that 1/4 of an inch is. So as long as you've put it on straight, then you're good. But you see, that can now be pressed, and that forms quite a permanent adhesion until, like I say, until it's washed. So it gives a nice, whoops, strong adhesion. It's not going to be permanent, is it, if you can wash it out? You know what I mean. And we'll do that on this as well. And then we can just sew around 3 sides and then top stitch across the top. You can just leave a hole if you want down the side. Like I said, that's what I did with my apron, and I was like, oh, actually, I wish I'd done it this way, because I did this along the top of the apron, which I'll show you in a minute, and it did just make life a lot easier. So let's get that pocket made. And then we can do the main body of the apron. So we're going to put these right sides together, lining up those folded over edges, and then we're just going to sew around the other 3 sides. Just making sure those tops are aligned. Pinning it would probably have been the thing. And then we can just check that you have caught everything there. And then turn it around, ease out those corners if you've got a ponytail. Oh, I forgot actually, what have I done with it? I've got a really beautiful, kind of like a, I don't know what I've done with it. Pokey out a tooly thing, and it's in kind of a mineral. It's lovely, but can't find it now. You can always use your turning through tool, but just go gently into those corners. Yes, you want them eased out. And then just roll those seams so they're straight. Give it a press. The calico is really lovely to work with, actually. I forget how much I like calico. I want that centre mark for later for lining it up, so I'm just going to keep hold of that. Run my turning through tool just to get that edge nice and straight. So I've got nice crisp pockets. And then I'm going to top stitch those there. And because I've used that the wash away tape, it gives it a nice crisp edge to work with. A little bit stuck there. We are good to go. And what I might do is just have a tiny bit of the calico. I can either line it up absolutely, but actually I might just offset it. And I'm only talking about like 1/8 of an inch, just so that you can see that there is a pocket. You don't have to, you can do it absolutely if you want. But I just think having that tiny little bit there is going to be quite smart. So what we've got there is the edge and that little bit of calico. I could have lined it up absolutely, no problem at all, so I didn't have that. But actually that will show me that I have a pocket, and I quite like that we've got these alligators climbing out through centrally in the pocket. So let's now actually make this, shall we? We're going to put that fabric to one side. We're going to bring up the calico because it's easier to draw onto and have you able to see. So again, I'm going to give this a little press before we start. I've been asked to make some curtains, so I need to get some more calico in anyway, because I will line with calico. And this is really lovely calico to line with. Like I say, give it a little wash first, so that when you then do pop your apron through the wash, any shrinkage has already been taken into account. Right, so let us, I need to find my pen. Where is my pen? Here is my pen. Okay, and here is my ruler. So we are going to, if you are happy that the top is even, we are going to mark from the fold, working from the fold. This end here, hello, is folded. And Josh, are you sure you want this wider?
I think so.
You do?
Not
Okay.
expert, but I would say so.
You want yours a little bit wider? Okay. So normally I would say go to 6, but because Josh wants his a little bit wider, that's what happens when you're a large rugby person. I'm just going to add an inch either side.
Yeah.
You sure about this? No, I'm going to go half an inch. I think an inch is going to be too much. Half an inch. Half an inch. Now,
I was just popping up to know that Jane's quilting website and everything is completely live.
it's all live. I don't know if you can hear Josh, but he's just come in to say that Jane's quilting workshop is now all live. You can buy your subscriptions from there. It is all good to go. Thank you so much. He's worked so hard to get this built and up and running. Clever man. Thank you very much. You can have an apron for your efforts in the alligator fabric of your choice. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Feel free to start using it.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Not that there's anything on there yet until we do the workshop.
The content's not there, but everything is.
But you can have a
ready to
chat.
go.
You can see.
Join the members area.
Yeah. Perfect. Brilliant. Thank you very much. We are now going to measure from here. So this is our mark. I've added a ½ inch on for Josh because he's bigger than I am. We are going to, you can just, this is on the back of your calico, measure down to here. So from here, we are then going to go up to there. From here we will go out. Let's get this right. And I'm going to measure it from this marker here. Up to there, and then I can draw from my seam. All of your measurements are in your instructions. So I've got a very crude shape like this. We need to curve this off. You will have a template for this in your pattern. All right. Now I've used a pen that's going to be heat whatevery, so that will take, I can just press this and this will come off. So you will have this curve that you can do and it gets to there. So rather than, we're not going to cut on this, we're going to cut on this curve instead. If you are, and so you can see, if you hadn't wanted to use your If you'd wanted to use your long quarter, your contrast long quarter for pockets, then you could, because you could use your leftover calico here. Bearing in mind that this is the second apron I've made from my one piece of calico, you have got plenty to work with for the knot handles, whatever it is that we're calling those. Straps, that's it, straps. Let's have a look at fabric placement. I want it going the correct way down my apron. So this is the top. If you are confident to do so, then you can place one on top of the other. And cut through all of it. Again, you can see you've got plenty there left over if you wanted to do matching straps and everything else. Okay, just making sure that everything lines up before we actually cut anything. And it does, making sure I've got my crocodiles, alligators, whatever they're called, coming through the right way. And I do feel confident to cut in one go, because I've got me a nice pair of sharp scissors. There we go. So you could see out of that, make all sorts of other things. Pot mitts, there is enough left over for that. If I don't want that mine to show anymore, then I can just pop my iron on it. This is the joy of it. And that goes away, which is very clever. Now, what I am going to do is open this up. And I'm going to put some tape on here. Just against the top. So like we did on the top of the pocket, we're going to use this wash away tape as our guide for the seam. Okay, then remove the tape. It just makes life so much easier. She's not actually been able to take, there we go. And then roll that. When you're happy with it, happy it's all straight, give it a press. As soon as you give it a press, you activate that glue even more to hold it even more strongly. Oh, stupid sniffy nose. I'm so sorry, everybody. Right. I can hear my phone buzzing, and I know that it's Jane loading quantities for bolt ends and goodness knows what, which are going up on that warehouse clearance as we speak. So again, on that seam, I'm going to give that a press. Okay, so now we are going to place these right sides together And again, if I'd washed these fabrics, which I didn't beforehand, marks and stuff come out, and creases would come out, and I would press all my fabrics beforehand. So this is why we cut them together, so that we can pin, and we are going to pin. We are going to pin all of this together. So if you can bear to, then cut it in a oneer, because it just makes this bit so much easier. Because with the best bin in the world, sometimes we wouldn't cut a curve exactly the same. It's no biggie, really, because what I would say anyway is to go with a slightly wider seam allowance anyway, okay? So I'm going to go, yeah, like I say, with a slightly wider seam allowance. Now, at this point, before I go any further, I'm going to get one of my straps. Now, you can, depending if you know where your seam allowance is, you can pin it right into the corner. I'm putting my wrong side, my raw edge side out, and I'm going to let it overhang like that. You can measure it down so it's exactly the same and right at the top, but if you want to just make sure it's going to be clear, you know, you can put it at kind of half an inch or whatever, or you can measure it out to an inch. I put mine an inch down, so it's not quite in that corner. But again, this all depends on you. Let's do the same here. Oh, this is going to look fabulous. So, making sure that is going to stick out there. And you can level this up, you can check it that it's the same distance down as your other one before you start to sew. And then that just leaves for us to sew around. We are going to start here. Let me just check. Yep, they're equal. Start up here, and we're going to sew all the way around. Are you ready for this? Oh my goodness me. Yes, we're ready. Here we go. So I'm going to put mine on, if you've got the DX, I'm putting on number 1. Let me just check I'm actually stitching. Is that made? Oh, come undone. There we go. Helps if we are indeed threaded before we go. Like I say, I am in need of a new needle. I keep meaning to and then forgetting. So I'm using the edge of my foot as a guide here. And I'm going to sew all the way around, apart from the top. So the top effectively becomes my turning through gap. And as you come round here, you can either sew off the end and start again, if you want to, if you're worried if you can't eyeball. And the thing about doing that, if you want to do that, is that you could then place your handles right up against the end. And remember to take the pins out as I go. We're now sewing along the bottom. The question is, will this bobbin do the handles from the other one and all the top stitching? We are playing bobbin chicken, we will find out. Right, so coming up the side. Taking out my pins as I go. But when I put them in, I put them in far enough away that I can sew around without having to stop if I want. So yeah, as just shared, the Jane subscription area is now live for you to get your subscriptions ready for Monday so that you are all signed up and ready to go. We will send you then on your email a Zoom link. Please do check your spam. Sometimes it goes into those folders, goodness knows why. Just taking the bulk out of these corners here, and if you want to, then using your pinking shears, pink around this corner. It's not a particularly sharp curve, so don't worry if you don't want to or if you haven't got pinking shears. But if you haven't, we do sell pinking shears and you can get them. It's nearly done. And just, I really like the weight of these. You can pay a lot of money for an apron, like a good apron. But this calico meaning that whether you're using quilting weight fabric or whether you're using, like I have here, this linen fabric, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a good weighty one. So we then just turn it through and give it a good press. Loving this. Beauty of having the handles, of course, is that you can use those to help pull out the sides. It's looking good. And then, yeah, just give everything a proper good press. Oh, it's like finding the edges of your bed, isn't it, on something big like this? Your bed linen. I saw the other day a tutorial on how to fold fitted sheets, bottom sheets. And that's the thing. I can't fold them. I don't know if you guys are all masters at this. This is one life skill that I just don't have. And others who are going, use your pointy fingers, get your fingers into the points, into the edge. I'm like, yep. 44 years old, still cannot fold a fitted sheet. Not going to worry about that too much. I sort of get so far and then just sort of roll it up and go, that'll do. It'll be flat on the bed. No one will know. People know. Turns out people know. Yeah, so kudos to everyone that does manage to fold a elasticated fitted sheet properly. Not one of my life skills. However, making fabulous aprons appears to be. I'm really quite pleased with this. Now, for those of you wondering, why haven't I put the pocket on yet? I'm going to put the pocket on through both layers of fabric because I don't want the lining coming away from the outer in any way, shape or form. It was an executive decision I made. I say it was an executive decision I made. I said to Jane, which would you do as well? And she agreed with me. So when two of us say it, I'm like, that's okay for me. I am loving this. Do you think Josh will come and model this for us? I don't know if he's watching or if he's just busily patting himself on the back and having yet another very large coffee because he was up very late last night doing the subscription zone. I don't know if he will come and model it when it's all done. Hopefully. He's a good one, bless him. Right. Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to do any of these things without his, I'm going to say skill and knowledge. He didn't actually know how to do any of it until I asked. And it was only once he'd made the website. He's like, oh, never made one of those before. I'm like, what do you mean? You've never made one of those before. When you offered, I sort of assumed that this was a skill base that you had. He's like, no, but I do like a challenge. And the platform that we've used was recommended by a lovely friend of mine who I think she owns Powertex now. I think she bought Powertex out. Lovely Michelle. She came and did the leatherwork wallet when we first started years and years and years ago. But she said, look, this is a really great platform for subscriptions and stuff like that, and it's growing. It's a women's entrepreneurial platform that we use, and so that keeps occasionally it does a little update and throws us all. But these are all the little things that go on in the background that, quite frankly, nobody else really needs to know about, but it helps if we know about. There we go. Right. So far, so good. And you can stitch all the way round. What I'm going to do is stitch across the top. I'm going to get my straps, pop them in. If you want to do them at a bit of an angle, then feel free to. Either that or just do them straight on, making sure you've actually put the correct end in. Yeah. A bit of an angle is nice. And then we're just going to top stitch across the top. maybe not quite such an angle. Just going to top stitch across there. Let me look at it from the front. Make sure that's equal. Yes, it is. Let's top stitch. You can do 2 lines across the top if you want to hold in your handles. And then I'm going to now that I've pressed everything, I'm going to top stitch all the way around. Yeah, so the reason that I'm sewing through both layers of fabric for the pocket is just to give it that extra bit of zhuzh so that when you wash it, it's much easier to press. Because if there is one thing that you need to do with an apron, that is make it so that it is washable. Nearly at the end of the bobbin. And it get us to the end. Keep checking. This is why I left long ends on my straps so that they would get doubly sewn in. You can always do 2 lines of stitching across the top if you want to doubly sew in the top straps as well. So what we have now is this. Hooray! And it's a little bit wider than mine. Pattern matching is where I want it to be. Very excited about that. I've still got my centre fold line on there, which is great. Now, you can decide whereabout you want your pockets. That's kind of a height personal preference thing. But I'm going to pop mine. Oh, no way. There is no option now for where this pocket's going. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Oh, that fills me with absolute joy. I can't even begin to tell you how happy that makes me. My pocket's going there. My pocket is absolutely going there. And because I just offset that slightly, we can actually see there is a pocket, which I like as well, because then I can sort of be a bit chuffed about the fact that it's also beautifully pattern matched. Oh, when these things happen, and they happen well, it's a very exciting thing. If you want to mark, by the way, down the centre, I mean, you can, the fold is there, but if you do just want to, sometimes you can just mark it like that. You know, I've got an actual pen, so that I know that if I want to put, Jane said, what? And I've got to believe Jane, because, you know, she trained as a chef. So if she says that she wants a centre line sewing, I'm giving her a centre line, even though it's not for her. But, you know, she knows what she wants, and that's fair enough. Right, so that is my pocket pin down. I've just got the top stitch it, and that is my pinny done. I am really thrilled with this, really thrilled. Just delighted. And what will really make my day is if that, if it actually holds in terms of having enough bobbin. I feel like I will be winning at life. Oh, this is so satisfying, I can't tell you. It's just great. Oh, yeah. This is good. Life is good. And then I'm just going to sew through that centre line. And we're done. I don't know if Josh is watching us. I'll get him to come and try it on. Otherwise, I'll get a photo of him. And there, ladies and gents, is one very durable, lined, but not for lots and lots of money, apron. That's fab, isn't it? I am chuffed to bits with that, I have to say. Absolutely chuffed to bits. It's going to be fabulous. And just that little bit larger across the top there. Just see. There you go. Right, make the most of these fabric clearance. When it's gone, it's gone. Make the most of the prices on these because, you know, we've been rather generous there. Your half metre heavens go live at midnight tonight. What else to tell you? Look out for your Friday deals because we're going to have lots of clearancey stuff, probably not just fabrics, lots of other things in those Friday deals as well. And if you ever don't, if the email goes into your spam or anything like that, you can always check the Friday deals section of our website, www.natashamakes.com. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on Monday next week. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.